Hi guys, we're journeyed now. Welcome to another video with myself, Heidi, and I'm Amber. We're so happy to have you guys here today as we're sitting in the last day of the March energies. And I mean, what a doozy March was, really. So this video today, we're gonna do something new. We're actually going to address a viewer's question specifically. Hopefully this video doesn't get too long, but there's a lot wanting to come in to be said as we close March and we open the calendar to April, they say. So we're gonna cover a few things, I'm sure, and I know that I am speaking with the Grays as we're going to be involving some of their information within the topic of the viewer's choice here. So with that being said, Amber's got a light coated visual imprint that she's going to share, and she'd like to speak right now, so let's go ahead.
So we're going to start off by addressing, this is a request coming in from Tony. Tony, if you're watching this, you know who you are. So Tony says, please, can you do a prayer to help move the lymph, untie the lymph nodes, and remove all toxins and obstructions from all organs into the bowels, pores, and kidneys? He also says, can you cast away the parasites, fungus, and all inflammation from all tissues, decalcification of the pineal gland and other glands from all obstructions? And what I'm going to say is we're going to narrow into the big one. And this is inflammation, you guys. Inflammation is this huge source of energy on its own. And actually, and the Arcturian Council has been kind of with me all morning, and they're going like this, cracking their knuckles. Let's do the work. Let's do the work. They're really excited. They want to tackle this. Let's do it now for everybody. And this is really an issue that's been kind of rising up from within us and kind of growing, and inflammation is having its own kind of ascension period right now, and it's huge. This is an implant, people, and if we can tackle this huge entity, which is inflammation, we are also targeting all the fractals, all those little diseases and ailments and pain and everything that's kind of coming out of this source and feeding off of this inflammation. So inflammation is the grand master. It's the big one. So if we're going to remove all of these little parasites and all of these things that are attached to inflammation, let's start with the big one. And that's who we're going to target today. So I have done a visual activation for you guys that we'll share at the end of the video, and along with that I'm going to do the light language transmission for you guys, and that is coming from the Arcturian Council, and they're really excited for this. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass you on to Heidi, and she's gonna work her magic, and let's see what spirit has to bring in regarding inflammation and whatever else that they see fit to bring forward right now for you guys.
So firstly, they would like me to request that we do a quick flash of that imprint before we get started with the video, that it may work on you throughout the processes involved within this video.
Absolutely.
So let's do that.
So this is inflammation release and transmutation, guys, and that's what we're going to be working with.
So take a look, really understand that by simply looking at this, you are receiving that code. There's nothing you need to do. Just by looking at it, you are getting that upload, download, whatever you choose to refer to it as. You're getting the information within that coding specifically just by looking at it. There's nothing more you need to do here. So let's go ahead, and they're asking that we all join together and we step into our heart space before we begin this transmission. And they're asking that we send out a rose-colored hue into all of our united heart chakra space right now, and just really fill this space that we are all in as we are viewing this video, and as we are receiving this information, they would like that color to represent this space that we are holding. So if you could all visually just take a moment to think of that rose color, that beautiful soft rose color, and let it envelop you into your heart space and out. And so I am talking with the grays right now. They like to get involved with information or data involving dis-ease and discommunication. They refer to dis-ease as a discommunication within your cellular structure, within your genostructure. So when we see inflammation, it sounds really funny when they say that. It's like it's almost sometimes when you speak with the gray is like more tone than anything. So inflammation, and they say yes, Grand Master. They say yes, Ring Master of the circus. That is the humanoid. So yeah, I think that speaks volumes just right there. They're wanting us to hold inflammation first from a multidimensional perspective, because they do not wish us to feed into the negativity associated with that dis-ease, because they say, remember again, guys, when we are dealing with the ascension process, we are really gaining higher perspective. With higher perspective, they say you cannot simply label and judge something only at the negative. Higher perspective, higher dimensional spectrums of data require a higher perspective viewpoint in which we see duality and harmonics within the negative and the positive spectrum as well. And so they do wish me right now to really imprint that information of duality when we're dealing with anything at all. So, and you can see now how much energy is surrounding this topic. Hands are gonna fly, people. Hopefully I don't poke Amber in the eye.
I'm kind of keeping my distance.
So they say inflammation, looking at it in duality from a high perspective, we must understand it as the trigger, as the implant, as the platform that it really is. And so they say that inflammation itself carries a heavy masculine energy, and of course it would, they say, in that it is structured in those regions of highly masculine data of information, which of course simply data itself is quite frequently going to hold a lot of masculine energies. So inflammation as a platform, they say we must observe and understand its gift. Do not abolish it, they say, because it has both parts to play, and without it, you would not be privy to the platform into the ascension process. And so they make the big circle. You cannot have one without the other, guys. Remember, disease, discomfort in the body needs to be recognized in order that we may ascend by removal of the layers. And so that is a benefit. So that being said, inflammation is the pinnacle of discommunication within your cellular structure, within your DNA, within all capacities that would make up the humanoid vehicle or avatar that we are walking in here. Inflammation is cause to all unbalance, whether it be the physical, the mental, any aspect that becomes inflamed must be viewed. So the very inflammation of any cell within the vehicle is simply occurring that you might view that specific point of inflammation and know, they say, and know where to begin, where to go within your own ascension. And this is why it looks different for everyone, but it will be the root, they say, the root of all platforms. So when we see inflammation occurring, it can look like inflammation of the dermatitis, and this is when you will see skin conditions, inflammation of the skin, guys, acne, psoriasis, eczema. All of those things are dermatitis inflammations on the physical appearance, on the skin organ system. You also have inflammation of implantations, as inflammation itself is an implant for self-discovery. Again, playing into the light spectrum of inflammation here. So, can be present within the mind. This is where we see diseases of the mind. Can be present within the organ structure. This can look spinal. Of course, they say spinal sublimation, subluxation, inflammation. We see a lot of inflammation right now within the chakra system. All of us do. They say it is a direct line into our ascension process, and of course we would have heavy inflammatory responses, as we are all and have all been out of balance within the chakra system. Clear these places now, they say. Clear this space now. Recognize where your own inflammations lie, that we might help to assist in the removal. So they say inflammation, disease, inflammation, disharmony, unbalancing. So you can simply see where this is lying within yourself and remove and remove and remove. And they just keep repeating that, and they wish me to communicate that as we are undergoing this video right now, they too are stepping forward to help to point you along the release of your own inflammatorial responses. They wish you to invite them in to step into your space as well, that they might continue this work. And so again, remember, when any work is ever done, it's going to come to the surface. So, I mean, you might experience breakouts. You might experience back pain, arthritis. You might experience an increase of the symptoms now. Fear not and embrace, as this is a sign of removal process. So within that explanation, they want to speak of the Mercury retrograde, all the energies of March that we have just underwent. They want us to know, as we step into April, as we step into spring, what this looks like is, and how fitting, they say, for the topic of today, the last day of March, stepping into our development. This is what April looks like. It is a progressive energy. It is a developmental energy that wishes us to take all that we have learned, all that we have underwent through March, through the equinox, through the great purging of March. They want us to step into those processes now and allow them to take place as we develop our many gifts and talents that we are becoming aware of. And so that's what April looks like, guys. Not heavy, heavy, heavy on the action, although heavy, heavy, heavy on the processing of your upgrades. So take it easy, guys, through April. Lots of inspiration, they say. Lots of data coming through for all of us that we can process within this month of April. They say take this time to go inwards and allow the processes to occur, because they say even if you are one of those in your ascension who does not feel, who does not recognize yet, but has that awareness, they say, do not be led astray by the lack of the tangible that comes with the process, because it still is occurring within you regardless of whether or not you can feel it or understand. They say understanding is something that us humans really have adapted and sought out as truth. Without having a full understanding, we will simply say it is not so, but they say to gain the true understanding in full, we must process to invite space for that data. So do not be fooled by the shadow that would like to inform you that because you have no data or title to give yourself, do not allow that to pull you back into the shadow self, because there is no wrong in not knowing. In fact, this is similar to all on their ascension process. Even these two, they say, do not know even a small amount of their true path. So we are all sitting in the same place here, guys. Don't allow that to be cause to slow your ascension growth. Trickery, they say, that is all that is. So rest easy through April. Take this time to develop and plan. Take this time to invite the inflammatory responses that your body will be undergoing heavily now as we begin to upgrade. And they say there is much astral traveling occurring right now. So be aware that even when you are physically awake and sitting in a state of not clear knowing, do be certain you know more in your astral travels. You will come to a point where you will clearly begin to remember these ascension trips or these ascension journeys that occur while we slumber. They like that, slumber. They're silly. They're hoping this clarifies information on, of course, inflammation for you all. And now they wish to address the lymph nodes. And they say it is in particular occurrence that this would be a coexisting factor of inflammation, because the lymphs become inflamed with junk that cannot pass. This is a blockage. This needs a release. And so simply working with your lymphatic system for drainage right now would be very beneficial as we're stepping into April. And it can look like many things. You simply can intend lymphatic drainage. You can intend balance and harmonics of your lymph systems. You can stimulate them yourselves, and they do reside in multiple places within the body. Now they're doing it to me, so I mean, I guess I'll let them. I still have to talk, guys, so let's stop that. So the lymphatic, you guys, very important for April. It's a release. It is an inflammation that causes the lymph nodes to not drain properly as they become inflamed with this lower level stuff that is needing to be moved out and needing transmutation. So we can ask for help for those things. Simply intention, people. Know your own symptomatics and intend release. Intend release. They say thank you.
So I was going to address another viewer who had been requesting or wondering about ridding themselves of stubborn excess belly fat. And what they're wanting me to acknowledge right now is, once again, this is very much tied into that source energy of inflammation.
Yes.
Obesity, you guys. So this inflammation, this source of energy, is really relying heavily on the intake of the consumables. And so it's creating a trigger or a emotion or whatever you want to call it in your brain that's really making you overindulge, because it's feeding on this junk that you're putting in your bodies, and it's really hard to switch that off. So releasing this inflammation is also going to look like, I mean, crash diet. Let's release the weight, guys, because it's a direct symptom of the inflammation.
They call it a shame band.
Mm-hmm.
It's a band going on that lower part of the belly. I'm sure many of us have that. They call it the great band of shame, wearing it like a belt. So many of us are.
You know, because the more that they can affect the way we view our physical appearance, the more they can kind of mess around with our emotions. And messing around with our emotions really puts tons of blocks up for us. And it prevents us from letting in that light source, which we're really trying to ascend into. So releasing the inflammation, releasing all of this other clutter is going to open up that space, so we can now open up to bring in this beautiful light, which we are all part of. So we're creating a space now, and this is where intention comes in. So bringing in that beautiful light and bring in your own intentions, you know, remove, transmute, release. Intend to bring that light in and put intentions on it for what you're looking for in your own self, creating your own self-worth.
Yes, you guys, and they do say humans can be vain. Vanity is not necessarily a fault, and they say many people having ties to star families of the Pleiades, many people having star system families who are mammalian are vain. Please do not feel bad for wanting to look well. We associate how we look with how we are internally. So if we do not find pleasing within the mirror reflection, we assume something is wrong inside, as is so. As we begin to ascend and work on our own releases, many of you will turn into lovely butterflies. Lovely butterflies, you guys. So have faith in this process. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else. Okay, again, for April, really going inside, all of us. Let's all go inside and do this work together. There is a new rising in April. It is like spring and the grass and all of the new life shooting up. We are simply having been given the seeds or the upgrades that have been allocated out multidimensionally with your blueprinting and missions personally. We have all been undergoing specific upgrades in the astral planes as well, so that the seeds have been planted, and we can simply look at April as time for growth of those specific upgrades. That's what we're going to see a lot of, and they want to again bring the twin flame into here, the 1111 guys. I mean, we really love the 1111s. So there's lots being done within the twin flame growth for April. So that means a lot to many of us watching, they say. They find this sufficient, and they would like to conclude love and light that we send out our thanks and appreciation to March. And we welcome with our full hearts and our full capacities, welcoming April. So let's do that, guys. Let's all welcome April and know that much more is to come. And many blessings, they say, many blessings to you all. we'll say thank you. I hope that helps you guys.
Okay, so let's get on with this activation because it's huge. It may not be lengthy, but it packs a punch. So I'm going to show you guys the visual before we begin. And for those of you that are really suffering from these chronic conditions, you're going to want to view this several times. Please make sure that you're allowing several days in between so that you can really sit with it, process, release, drinking lots of water. Give yourself the time to rest. Take care of yourself. Self-love, you guys. So everybody going into that heart space, take some nice deep breaths.
I'll just move out
and
of the
we'll
way.
begin this activation. They're saying, let's give everybody a little kick in the pants. Ura vukara tishki, tishki tura, 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 brach, 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 utututututu, vrahara, tushkata, bra, akata, 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 ishkara, uvra, uvra, say, tututuvra atari, ura kahara utuvra, abra katira, atira nkishka beshka, vura, 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 avakatari, avakatura, abra aktura, ikatahara nkuvra, ura tukahara, brakati, brakati, ikatikitikatikatiku, atakatakata, uahara apakara, utuvra, atuvra, arikitivra, antara, antara, untatuvra, ubra, adikikikiri, uvra, ari, utakahara, utuvra, mbra, nkura, akura, nkuri, ishkitiri, ishkiti, harutuvara, ira atuva hara utuvra atuvra ambran kiti ki ariki ikata haru utuvra tu aru tubra ati kiti shiki tuvra atari takahari ashkatavra utabrada uvra
Thank you. So just a little bit of a tip here. They wanted me to interject with, but I'm not 100% sure. This comes up to me a couple times, honestly. They say the Golden Mile, and I mean, I don't think that's what it's called. I think the movie is actually called The Green Mile. Honestly, guys, I don't know. They always call it the Golden Mile to me. So, I mean, if you guys watch that movie, breathing out the bugs, they want you to really focus on your breath in April. Taking intentional breaths in of specific colors. Think of a color for self-help and healing. Don't play into trying to find the right color. Whatever comes first, breathe the colors in. They'll find their way into your body. And then on the out breath, the Golden Mile, breathe all of that, like those bugs that come out of his mouth, you know, and really be aware that you're breathing out all of that release, everything that you have been working at. Take the time to breathe it out, thinking of the Golden Mile and intending for that to come out of you, release, and go into its own collective for transmutation. So if you have the means and the ability to utilize those oxygen bars, please do so, because that will be very, very helpful. Yes.
Oxygen is key, you guys. We cannot survive without it. Think about that.
Water and breath. They say actually that's all you need, but we don't need to get into that. Breathitarians, unite. I'm not one. I'm not one of those, but I mean, that's just what they say. So sweet. I liked that. I hope that was helpful for you all. See you next time, guys. Love and light.
Bye.
Spread the love. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.